I've got the maybe shorter sections. The media plan is it sounds like what it is. It's a little self-explanatory. You're just going to basically let us know what you're doing, let the public know what you're doing. You are required to announce the grant once you are awarded it. So you'll put that out to the public, whether it's a news station, a newspaper. You can also use social media. Make sure you send something to one of your planners to let them know that you announced it, and we can attach that to the grant for you. One thing that you probably need to realize is you don't need to put links in, because links can change. So if you put a link in and 6 months from then the server goes down or the website changes something, that information's gone. So make sure you either print it as a PDF or you send us a link and we can print it as a PDF, and then we can attach it so that there's an actual document there. And you can also send us updates to what you do in the community. Just keep everybody informed, and then we will upload that to your grant for you. Self-sufficiency is also kind of what it sounds like. We help you start a program, the program grows, and then you gradually take that program over. So we would start funding typically at 100%, and then maybe in a year or two we would drop to, we're funding 80%, you're funding 20%. Usually it's increments of 20% that go down. So you'd be at 60, we would be at 60, you'd be at 40%. Then we would fund 40, you would fund 60. Over the course of, depending on your program, different types, the funding would gradually drop, and you would take more responsibility over that program. I guess they call it seed money, I guess is one of the terms that we use. And as the seed grows, you take over. As it gets larger or grows, you take over more responsibility. The resource requirements, I tend to talk more about the heat side of things because I am the heat grant manager, I guess. One thing that we put in there is it answers several questions. There's 5 questions that you're going to see listed there. That would be what personnel are needed to carry out your project, the hours that they'll work. If you have as far as like a heat team, if you have a DUI problem at night, the heat team doesn't need to work 8 to 3, 8 to 4. It needs to fit what you're actually doing and what your problem is. The job descriptions of the people that are going to be doing that. What type and quantity of equipment do you need to carry out the process? If you're going to address certain issues, what equipment do you need to address those issues? How will it be used, or I guess worn, or how will it be used and by who it will be used? Describe the training that requires. I mean, you can't put somebody fresh out of the academy if they're going to do a specialized DUI investigation or something like that. Well, you can, I guess, but you need somebody that fits the training requirements of that project. So make sure that they fit. We've been using a qualified officer or deputy, and that basically for heat units means that they have the LIDAR, radar, SFST. We like DREs. That they can actually recognize what they're trying to detect and address the issues of your community, your problems. Basically, it's all the resources necessary in order to achieve the goals of the grant. If it's not necessary, probably doesn't need to be in there. But if you have it in the budget, if you have equipment in the budget, if you have personnel in the budget, whatever it is that you have in the budget, it should be in the resource requirements section. And that way it's documented on what it is, how you're going to use it, and it lays that out for us. And the biggest thing, make sure your budget matches the activities that you're doing, and make sure that all of that lines up. The equipment, basically when you put in the problem ID, the who, what, when, where, and why, this is the justification. We need this stuff to do the who, what, when, where, and why, and the we're trying to achieve. Any equipment over $5,000, if it's an individual piece, will have to be pre-approved through NHTSA. So that's something that you would email us, and we would get approval. We would help you get approval for that, and then that would need to be done prior to any purchases. And I think that pretty well covers the notes that they had here. And I can help you, send you some examples if you need that. Just let me know, and we'll be glad to help you with anything that, if you're not sure what to put in, we can maybe guide you a little bit and help you figure out what's needed in there and how we can achieve that. So NHTSA has moved from paying salaries to contracting hours. So this is kind of a new concept as far as a lot of law enforcement things, a lot of heat units. We have moved to enforcement hours. So it's a little different. We're not used to it, but we're learning. And basically we are going to contract a rate, and the rate is typically for heat units. We take the 3 people assigned to a heat unit, and we average the hourly rate that they are paid, and we will come to an average hourly rate. And based on that rate, that's our reimbursement rate. You may make more than the rate, you may make less, but we will take the three hourly rates and average those, and that's what we'll pay out. They are, I think I kind of covered all that actually at one time. We have to make sure that they're qualified officers, deputies, or troopers, though. That's another key. But we can help you with that. We'll help you. A lot of people had trouble with the average. Just call us, let us know, and we'll help you out with that. But I think, is there anything else you can think of that kind of covers? One of the things that's confusing to a lot of people is what is claimable and what's not. Pretty much if you're not doing something on the project, it's not claimable. That's the easy version of it. Court time is not claimable. The training that is directly related to the project is claimable. So if you're going to DRE, if you're doing advanced traffic law, things like that, they relate to the project that you're working. In-service training, things like that are not. If you're going to active shooter, that's not part of it. It doesn't apply to highway safety. So you can go to those things. There's nothing saying you can't go to those. And if you're working the street and a bank robbery comes out, an armed robbery, something like that, you can go to anything that you need to. You need to address the issue, but we would not be able to reimburse on a highway safety grant reimbursement for an armed robbery. So you'll see a little more once maybe finance breaks down, how to claim the time. In-service time is not usually, is not claimable. Overtime is not claimable, but if you are working in an overtime status, you can still work the heat grant. You just have to, we will reimburse at the average hourly rate. So that's the difference with this. It used to be that overtime is just not claimable. Now you can work in an overtime status, but we will reimburse the average hourly rate.